Hello, hope you had a fabulous weekend. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have my lovely co-host here. Hi, ladies.
Good morning.
How you guys doing?
We are very
Hi,
well. I had a long, restful weekend. It started on Thursday. I was just eating, sleeping, watching TV, and just relaxing. I'd had a busy week actually, last week, so it was good to rest. I spent the whole of Saturday at a power bike workshop.
Oh,
Learning about power bikes.
that's good.
Things we do for love.
Yes. How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good. I had a busy weekend. It was good to work and make some money. It's been a boring 2 weeks before now. And also went to a wedding party, got there extremely late. We always think that parties should end late. So I got to this wedding party around 4:30 and everybody had packed up. Food has finished, food vendor gone. And I was wondering, I was all dressed up. Like, it's supposed to be like a Yoruba party now. We grouped till like 10, so.
My husband went to an Igbo party and they got there about 2 hours into the party, no food, and now reminded me. So, and now someone else said, okay, you're Yoruba man, you don't understand these things. Let's just go and eat somewhere. Then I went out somewhere else, a restaurant to eat. When they came back, another 2 hours passed. Boy started serving the food. Now he understood. Yoruba parties are definitely different.
Yes, they are.
Because every moment, every second, things be coming in.
No, but my neighbor was naming dedication yesterday. An Igbo man. There was enough to eat, as in he had made that plan.
Because he's surrounded by Yoruba people.
He had made plans. There was a lot. There was a bacha, small finger food, pepper soup. He had all this sorted out in batches. So I ended up having
You people have influenced him.
I guess so.
How are you doing?
It's a good influence.
I'm very well, thank you.
It's happening.
No, I just heard some noise. My weekend was amazing. I had a fantastic weekend, yeah. And I tried to also put in some things in place.
Really?
Hopefully we're trying to see how we can get children involved in games like chess and Scrabble. So very soon we'll be
I
rolling
play
out.
chess very well.
I love,
very, very well.
So maybe you'll be one of our judges.
Oh, I'd love that.
I'd love because we're
nice.
rolling out a chess competition. We're doing also the spelling bee we had last year. We're doing chess, we're doing Scrabble.
Oh,
so
wow.
hopefully
Great stuff.
this time around we're hoping we can give very, very interesting gifts. Not just thank you for coming. We want to be able to give them possibly
Something tangible.
laptops,
Oh,
tablets, if possible cash, just
Prize.
to encourage the children to get involved.
We need more
in
things like
will
that.
help.
What
Brain
Stimulate
development.
What age bracket are you
We're
looking
doing
at?
from 7 all the way to 18.
Oh, catching them young.
Yes,
Nice.
7 all the way to 18. So
Chess.
hopefully we should be able to.
I'll try to get my daughter interested in this kind of thing.
No, just if she hangs around children that are playing, she will just.
I know that even you could download the app on the phone. Chess.
Does your
game for
daughter
children.
do
I had
ballet?
to mention boat cruise, please. Stop this just. We had a fantastic time on the boat on Saturday. Very nice. Everybody was asking for, hey, where's Uwa? Where's Tokwe? Where's Shivake? I said then. This is the LABI boat cruise, but it was fun. We had a great time. Everybody had fun on the boat.
You said they had matured couples,
mature couples
which I'm happy
there.
about.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
we need to
So
go
you
out.
didn't see any
Go out and go and
sagging
do love
jeans
and-
and everybody
Nice.
there.
Well, interestingly, one of our fans, my sister-in-law called me that she wanted to talk to me. Sophia, I think, if I remember her name. She said I should call her name. I hope it's the name is Sophia. She loves all of us. She just sends her love. Hopefully, she's hoping to meet all of you with natural hair.
Okay.
So she'll come and train under you.
I have to give a shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Ademola Sadiq.
Oh, you remember
they
this time?
Yeah, they came back. They were so upset because things happen, because people, the address on the invite is slightly different from the actual. We said Admiralty Way instead of Admiralty Road. So people got lost. So I mean, I had to apologize to all our guests on Saturday. We apologize. They all made it. But
Finally.
after a lot of
of
hassle,
phone calls.
we thank you. We do apologize. We're not like that. It just was an error. Apologize. But thanks for coming. We had a great time with you. And my Mr. and Mrs. Sadiq were really upset. And the woman came, was ready to fight me. But I had to beg her. So thanks for coming. All right, so let's take a break. When we return, we'll look at the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Yourview will be right back.
Welcome back. I miss taking coffees in the morning. This is good stuff. Oh yeah, punch.
21 days are finished.
40. Oh yes, true. We completed our 40 days yesterday.
Congratulations
to RCCG members. I drew our Agbao.
I'm you.
Yes. The punch. Federal government set to sack 5 SANs as prosecutors, senior lawyers to lose status over conflict of interest. Man sets Oyo family 7 ablaze. 5 die. Buhari meets Saraki again in London. Niger Delta. Buhari drops military option. Favors dialogue. Ex-Governor Aliyu receives sheriff in Mina. Both meet ex-dictator. Federal government orders mission of probe attacks on Nigerians in Southern Africa. Yakubu sues federal government, demands return of seized 3 billion naira. Buhari stopped Boko Haram from taking Asurok, says Shehu. Will convert new vice president's residence to other use, says Osinbajo. Telcos may block Skype, WhatsApp calls. Target 20 trillion revenue. And Sanusi plans a law barring poor Kano men from polygamy. Let's take this polygamy story. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Who has that story?
I read the story, and he was talking at remembrance or so, 50 years remembrance of one of the leaders in Kano, and he was saying that he's been able to find a link with terrorism, poverty, and polygamy. So he's trying to enact this law in Kano State in the Emirates where poor people are not allowed to have, more than one wife. Because most of them, by the time they have so many children, they are unable to take care of the children. They go out in the streets and they become a menace.
Isn't that going against their religion, though?
No, if you can't afford it, because you
in
also
the religion, you should be able to take care of them.
And addendum to that, people tend to have more children, even in the south and other parts of the country, based on, I want to just have more children. I think you should only have enough children you can properly take care of.
Moving on, who has a story on the fire?
I do.
Yes.
So this mentally deranged man had gone to a man in Oyo State a day before the fire incident to ask for money. They told him that they did not have. He got very angry and upset, and the next day he went to their house and set the house on fire from the roof at night. 5 of the family members were lost, including an 18-month-old baby. There are 2 survivors, Samuel and his sister. A very sad story. I wanted to also there's another human angle story about
the plastic company.
No, I don't remember
let's
that
move on.
Boko Haram.
Let's move on to the nation. 7 governors linked with 19 billion naira bank account, and this is a breakdown of what the states got from the London Paris Club refund. Yakubu seeks return of $9.7 million. Babangida urges caution as PDP leaders step up battle. Okay, who has the Yakubu story?
Okay, so Yakubu's lawyers have sued back, give me back my money, stating that 1, they've not raised the case against him. 2, that the federal government doesn't have
a local standard
to sue him to court, and that
that it is
the
the
jurisdiction,
EFCC.
yes, that it should be the EFCC that should take him to court. And the jurisdiction, it should be in Abuja rather than Kano. So generally they just picking up a defense for him. I'm sure the federal government has their own defense. However, I'm worried prosecution has their own way to counter whatever I say. But I'm wondering how that you're found with that kind of money and you still have mouth to talk. I'm just wondering.
You are innocent until proven guilty.
You are innocent until proven guilty. If they don't have proof,
it's about morals. I'm not even talking about...
No, if they don't have proof, that because, our first lady came out after people had admitted, former first lady rather, patient Jonathan, after people had admitted that this money, it was,
proceeds
of whatever, she still came out and said, the money
is my money.
Return my money. So when you have that liver to
you
do
see,
that
what we need to do is to tighten our judicial
Of
system.
course.
And I was going to link it to the federal government sacking 5 of their senior advocates, realizing the EFCC says we always do our investigations, we always lose our cases in court. So they are thinking that some of the federal government's prosecutors are
conflict of interest.
They have conflict of interest.
It's a bit late in terms of almost 2 years into the new government, but I'm happy with a good decision.
Let's move on to Vanguard. We will tell Buhari to speak with Nigerians, says presidency. Osinbajo disowns 250 million naira gatehouse vote. Fayose, Fani Kayode, Ihe Dioha, cake as sheriff's men go to charm offensive. Law to gag press passes, second reading in Imo Assembly. 3 billion naira loot, ex-NNPC boss Yakubu asks court to set aside forfeiture order. Forex, CBN banks to verify tax clearance certificates and flight tickets. So what's the president saying? Okay, Oshibajo, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so he said he has said it for the 18th time. This is not, this project that you're doing, building that, the new building for him.
Vice President.
Yeah, the Vice President's apartment.
Yeah.
It happened since it was commissioned in 2010. You know, not his administration. There's no trace of this whatever in their current budget. That while they are clamoring for all of those, that he's saying that where he's staying, he's comfortable with that place. There's nothing wrong with it. That what he plans to do is to convert the property to a better use, that he's comfortable where he is.
Vice President Oshimbajo, I do support you to convert this apartment that has 14 buildings into proper use and not just a vice president's apartment. Right. But maybe he didn't read the budget. There's a 250 million naira in it for gates. Last year's budget also had money for presidency, and building,
for him,
and housing, for Aso Villa, for the president's apartment and his own.
His own is Agudu house.
No, so he's now saying that he wants to stay in Aguda house. That's
where he's been. Actually.
Yeah, that's been.
And he's comfortable there.
Yeah.
Then our president is the president is speaking constantly that Buhari can talk to us. He won't talk to you.
Yeah, that's to what's the word? Counter all the rumors, spreading about his health.
Like after many weeks.
That they may have him talk to Nigeria.
After how many weeks, Mariah? They should just not bother.
Let the man be.
They should not bother.
President should stop talking. Leave us.
The VP is already doing a good job.
We're all right.
Acting for the president, and they should just let him rest.
It's
annoying.
Working.
So and they are saying, all you people who are saying that the acting president is
following instructions of his boss.
That he's following instructions that the president laid down for him.
Thank you.
Sir, but why weren't you doing these things that you have told the VP to do in the last 2 years?
It doesn't matter. At least we are moving forward. We see it later. It doesn't matter. President just stop commenting on. Whenever our president comes back,
we welcome him.
Don't worry about it. We don't want to know. Moving on to Daily Sun. PDP crisis. McCarthy sheriff in fresh plot. PIB Senate plots to veto Buhari. Seized $9.7 million. Ex-NNPC GMD goes to court. Fire wreaks havoc in Lagos community plastic company. Pro-Trump rally. Army wants IPOB over claims. Wike makes case for restructuring one state as federating unit. Actually wanted to read that story.
I read it.
Oh, good.
I read the Wike story quickly.
Yes.
He was talking and saying that rather than be departments of the federal government, that
They should be autonomous.
He's saying that each state should be a federating state, meaning that they control their resources, and how federalism really ought to be is how Nigeria ought to be.
So he doesn't want region, he wants state.
He said
that
independent.
Yeah,
yes.
He said each state should be independent, to the point that why you called the chief security officer of your state, where you cannot make a decision concerning the security of the state. Nobody can care about your state more than you, the governor of the state. Mentioning how they have empowered DSS, empowered the police with ammunition, but they can't do anything because they keep moving the boss, changing leaders within those the police and the DSS over and over again.
That's the same argument for the local police that we
Yes, that's what he's canvassing for.
So if you are a federating unit, you will have your own police.
Yes, you have a right to make a decision. But I want to talk about the
PIB?
The McCarthy PDP, because as a democracy, we need to have a viable option at every point in time. Another political party that is reasonable. So the PDP crisis right now is saying that McCarthy is the head from the appeal court.
No, Sheriff.
Sheriff won the case from the appeal court, and PDP members are still kicking against it. I think that we need to get our acts together as a country, because whether we like it or not, PDP is the strongest opposition we can see so far, and it's 2 years.
Fayose actually vehemently saying that they cannot have the McCarthy is the appropriate person to lead that.
But the appeal court, you can't
and they need
the appeal
to
court,
get the Supreme Court.
They'll go to the Supreme Court. But I mean, we don't want the PDP again. I think we need a new viable party, actually.
I think we just need to be very deliberate about these things. We need to be sure who we want and
independent candidacy, I beg. Let's start fighting for that one.
You should write to your legislature to start it now.
But the legislature want to work now. They said they want to pass out the PIB bill.
Without the president, the PIB. Oh, I wanted to take that story. So the Senate is saying that they're already working on the PIB, and that even if the president does not sign it into law, they're going to veto, because it is about the people and what is most important for the people that they want to do.
Let's see how it comes up. Let's take a quick break now. When we return, restrictions on freedom of speech in Nigeria. We use Aldo story as a point of reference, and then later, the social injustices in our society. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So the recent arrest of the Chocolate City boss, Aldo Bakori, following his false claims on social media concerning the Southern Kaduna killing of 5 students of College of Education, Gidan Waya, has once again brought into the fore the issue of freedom of expression and defamation, especially on the internet. According to the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Section 375-376, Criminal Code, any person who publishes any defamatory matter knowing it to be false is liable to imprisonment for 2 years. It's your view that it counts. You can call us on 070-80668014. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so you can read the tweets. Now, this story is pretty interesting because it's not so much about the Aldo story. It's the fact that there's so many stories online that are not verifiable. Remember the president's issue recently? The president is dead, he's alive, he's in the hospital. All sort of stories flying up and down. And these are not verifiable. Even recently, this lady, who just lost her head, Faith Balogun, she turned 50.
They said
and
she turned
Linda
50.
No, she's 48 years old, but Linda Ikeji had published that she turned 50. She had to then send a message to Linda publicly saying, I'm actually not 50. My ex-husband, is the one that was 50 at that. So, but everybody, all the other blogs took the 50 years and everything went viral. So these kind of issues we have of getting the facts right before going online. Have we gone beyond what we're supposed to be doing, or is it still a function of freedom of speech? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes.
There's no smoke without fire. Linda picked up the 50 years because Faithia's ex-husband died, who she shares birthday with, was 50 on that day.
Yes.
You know, the same way all the allegations here and for instance, Aldo Maikori was talking about the Southern Kaduna killings. There were actually killings.
Yes.
But the particular story that he was telling, which was the story of his driver, was false.
Yeah.
So there's no smoke without fire. And as far as you are retweeting or copying from a
source,
a good source, like our newspapers or online media, then you can be almost sure that what you're saying is right. Now, when we're talking about social injustices, Aldo had apologized that I told this story because my driver told the story to me, and there was no way that I would have known that it was false. Now, it becomes a crime if he knew that it was false and he still went ahead and published. Once he knew that it was false, he came and he apologized. But guess what? He was still picked up for spreading inciting statements online.
The ripple effect of that initial posting, because aside from this, even Aldo, I don't want us to analyze so much of Aldo's case, but you post information that is not true, and then there's a ripple effect where it has gone viral, and things happen, and people can die. People can now take to the streets because of that single statement. So sometimes it's like the irresponsibility of the person posting it that is not considering the effects of his post.
Mariah, the law is about knowingly publishing or spreading false information. When you knowingly, that's defamation, that is lying. When you don't know, based on that point and the judgment, you did not think it was false. You were advocating for the people that died.
Where do we draw the line, Tokwe?
When he found out it was false, and he publicly said that my driver, and right from the beginning, he didn't say I witnessed what happened.
Yeah.
He said from the beginning
that my driver told me so and so is what happened. So based on that, how do news people get their information? In most cases, they have a source. So until you are proven, the person is proven wrong, all right, what you've said, it remains valid. Now, because he came out, and I must say that I'm happy that he came out before he was even arrested. Imagine if he was saying it while he was being questioned. Immediately he heard it was a lie. He came out and said, my driver gave me false information. Him being called to question is not even wrong, because we could say, let's find out what's going on. Why would you never say such a thing?
Yes.
Let's see into what's going on. But when he was called to question and then flew to Abuja and held overnight, so all this, it's why we're wondering, are we overshowing power to someone? That is my question to that matter. But we have issues of generally, without singling out Audu Makore's issue, where people have consistently, knowing it is false, spread false news that is obviously verifiably false. You post a picture of the president that the presidency Twitter handle shared that picture, that this is a picture of when they came to visit me. That is the Senate president and the Speaker of the Assembly. Somebody now comes up and says it is doctored. Can't you see the upload? There's a picture. There's 2015 in that picture. Guess what? 2015, there were no people. These people were not in that position. So how could the picture have come up with him in the Abuja house in 2015? That was obviously something you can reason out.
Again, no smoke without fire. We had seen pictures of the president a few years before being bandied about like he was the president.
It wasn't from the president's Twitter handle. I checked the president's handle.
So I'm just saying again, no smoke without fire.
In law, there's nothing like ignorance. You can't claim ignorance and say that you did not know. So that's why for me, I don't post. You cannot catch me broadcasting or reposting. It is only when I am sure that I can comfortably say that this one, I saw it with my two korokoro eye. That is when I have the guts to do it. Now, in this case, it's not show of power, Tokwe.
That's part of the governor?
Yes, it's not show of power. We have to be careful because a lot of times we make flimsy statements. I've been in a situation of war, do you understand, in Kaduna State. Imagine if somebody comes out and says something like this. The number of people that would have died before you can come back and say, oh no, it was a wrong statement. You cannot quantify it. A small statement that you make can incite a lot of people's, that would make people lose their lives. So in this case of Audu Makore, I think it was right that they picked him up.
But this
so
was
next
several
time,
weeks after the Southern Kaduna killing.
But it's a function of next time.
Where people killed
you cannot
or
just
not?
wake up in the morning and say because you feel like it, you now go on Instagram or
no,
you go on Twitter. I'm just saying. I'm just explaining to you.
I want us to.
So that tomorrow he will not repeat it again.
So I think the idea is that we can isolate our story. We can analyze that till tomorrow. We're not going to get to the end of it. I'm talking about the general posting of wrong information.
So
is what we're
when
trying to stop
I
right
saw
now.
the pictures of Free Audu, and I knew that if this is true, we should make the noise. I didn't just pick up and reposted the picture. I had to first find out, chatted with someone to find out that, this guy one-on-one. Has he really been arrested? Is he really being detained? And when I confirmed the information, I now shared it. I think that's what we must do. We must take responsibility for what we share, and we must agree that whatever we share is in tandem with our beliefs and ideology, that we can defend it when called to be questioned concerning it.
Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there? Good morning.
Morning.
Abdul, thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Thanks for calling, Abdul. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I just wanted to make a contribution. My name is Abdul. I'm a first-time caller. Yes, I just wanted to make a contribution, particularly when it comes to journalism. The two ladies, Jumoke and Tokwe, make some very bad contribution to journalism. Journalism does not say that if you get an information, you should just go ahead and publish. You have to first verify.
I just said that.
You have to first verify before you publish. If not, all the newspapers will have been locked up. You don't just get a report or an information from a source, and you say because it's a source, then you now go and publish. You have to verify.
I think they actually made that very clear that you need to verify.
I mentioned that we need to verify. I also mentioned that Audu verified because he had someone telling him that this is what happened, that he saw.
What he is saying, so he should not have even posted it in the first place. No, you should have verified before posting. Let me tell you, you are saying you come and you type something, tomorrow you come back and say, oh, sorry, my driver gave me a wrong information. The number of people that would have died in between that time, you cannot quantify that. My question, the point I'm trying to make about this situation, I think important for us is to have proper channels. If there's something that is happening, you know, for instance, in Southern Kaduna, is there a channel that the government has set up in place to say, okay, if we find out anything is happening, can we call? My parents live in Kaduna, so most times when I hear all those things happening, I call them immediately. Where are you guys? Where is the thing happening? So they tell us this is exactly where it's happening. You don't just go and wake up.
Right. Okay.
So they should have appropriate places where, if there's serious allegations like that, you can actually call those places to verify.
Yeah, she just called her parents. Our parents would not have been living in the place where the crisis took place. So our parents too would have called somebody there, and the person would have given them the information. When we report from Lagos what is happening, we call somebody in that place where it happened and say, how many people did you think died? How many cops did you count? So you must still rely on someone to give you the information. If that person lies, it is not your own fault.
What? We can't always have that information. Remember when the first picture broke out about our president? Who could have called London to verify? You couldn't definitely know. So sometimes, that's the issue.
Can I reply you? The Boko Haram case.
Yes.
Do you know that people keep saying that if within being called to be questioned? I've said that already.
Okay,
call him for questioning.
Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there? Oh, sorry for keeping you for so long.
May I just go back to the Audu case to say that he made the statement 2 weeks after all of us had known that there were killings in Southern Kaduna. He now told his driver's story that my driver said his entire family was killed and then realized it was false. Were there killings in Southern Kaduna?
Yes.
So he wasn't spreading rumor. Except that, oh, this particular person did not lose his own family. Oh. But were there killings in Southern Kaduna? Have there been any arrests of the people who are... So why are we leaving the roots and cutting off branches?
Totally agree with you, Jumoke. I said in the Audu story, he has a point. You can look at it from different angles. But people must stop posting things they cannot verify.
Which is what I said. I asked question before sharing the picture of free Audu. And I think we must all know that whenever you share a story, you can be held accountable for that story you're sharing. When you sit here and you say that, oh, this is what is happening in Port Harcourt, because I had to call, you must always know that I'll be held accountable. Can I really back up what I'm saying?
Okay, unfortunately, we have to round up this segment. We have to take a quick break now. When we come back, today is also World Social Justice Day. We're talking about fighting social injustice in our country. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Yourview will be right back. Welcome back to Yourview.
Thanks for staying with us. Social justice is an underlying principle for peaceful and prosperous coexistence within and among nations. Nigeria, as a country, is faced with issues of social injustice, ranging through bribery, corruption, poor wages, tribalism, nepotism, discrimination, and subjugation of women in almost all facets of life. Now, joining us is a legal practitioner, Barrister Ahmed Abbas. Welcome to the show, sir.
Morning.
You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag Yourview TVC so we can read your tweets. Before we go into social injustices in our society, this story on defamation, freedom of speech, what are your thoughts on it? And how far is too far in posting false or stories? Yes.
Thank you. All freedom must have limits. That's why in law, we usually have what we call the general rule.
Okay.
Ignorance.
Yes, a general rule is that you have a right to life. That's the general rule. But there are exceptions to most of the rights and freedoms we have.
Okay.
If you kill and you are found guilty, the state can decide to take your life.
Okay.
That's an exception. If the police is trying to probably apprehend you and you are running from being arrested, and the police try as much as possible to use minimum force in stopping you from running away, if that use of minimal force result to death, it's an exception. The court of law, having tried one for murder or armed robbery, can decide to say the person's life can be taken. So to most of the freedoms, there are usual usually there are exceptions. And the essence is there's always, we say, where your right stops.
Is where mine starts.
That's where mine starts.
Okay, all right.
Yes. So you have to be very careful in the exercise of your right to ensure you do not infringe on another person's right. Very simple. Because that's the only way the society can function orderly.
But sir, there was a governor in Nigeria that had a man picked up because he posted something on Facebook about his government. And so when Aldu's case happened, some people were like, what's happening to freedom of speech? Of course it is wrong to spread falsehood. That's telling a lie, you know. But where does your freedom of speech and expression end, especially on social media?
In addition to that, another governor, another governor arrested somebody for expressing his way of life by putting a leash on somebody else. So those are different expressions. There's still freedom of speech. There are different types of speeches.
So it's freedom of expression.
Expression.
You see, it's unfortunate that in this part of the world, I think people who occupy sometimes public offices do not know the essence of those offices. They assume they are gods, and that the ordinary man on the street is an animal. And that's why sometimes you see them use koboko. You see them use koboko because as far as they are concerned, they just feel every other person.
It's not a generalization. I don't really see this. I don't see kobokos around here anymore.
Look, even in their convoy, most of these public officers, when they are coming, they do not believe most of us who are not in public offices are as important as they are.
Bloody civilians.
Bloody civilians.
No,
you see their security.
That doesn't happen in Lagos.
I'm saying with some exceptions.
Yeah,
yes.
Even when you see people in bullion van banks carrying bullion van cars,
you see those ones.
You see the security men.
I see them.
I don't see whips.
With whips.
I don't see whips.
I see. I do. I see some of them. I'm saying.
No problem.
But you know, even the way they treat the ordinary man simply tells you some of them needs to go back to school to understand the essence of governance.
Let's go to
social justice.
Because I mean, we've heard so many stories. I mean, people. Things happen in our society every day, and people just go scot-free. Nothing happens. So it's especially the vulnerable groups, old women, even young children. How, like, for those that don't understand, let me just a few cases: a father raping a son or a daughter, a woman being kicked out of her home. There was a story we heard about recently about a woman. I think her name is Pascalina. She came to our office. She built a business from scratch by herself. Doing very well. Her husband was doing something totally different. His business wasn't prospering, doing very well. He now quit his own business, came to her stuff, helped her, and they built it together for 12 years. Suddenly, he just got another woman, sent her packing with 6 children, left her with nothing, a dime. This one was wailing. Now that's injustice. This thing happens a lot.
Do you
in our
remember
society.
one albino man that TVC interviewed?
In Ikponri,
he has been released.
Yes,
He
and
raped.
not one, not 2.
Yes.
And then he was taken to court. People knew that he did it. They had witnesses, and yet he was released back into society. When they know that he preys on young.
It's a pedophile. So those kind of injustices happen. What does the law? How does law protect the man on the street? And how can we come to lawyers like you? Do you help us? Those people out there. What can we do?
Thank you. It's very unfortunate if you live in Nigeria. And for those of us especially that, practice, law, we interface with government agencies, institutions that are supposed to be institutions of social justices. There are times I've wept personally because of the things. Yes, I get home and I broke down. Because I've seen, if you go to our prisons, let me tell you, for example, you go to prisons, 99% of our detainees, they don't have any business being in those prison walls. Majority of them are there simply because they were arrested in the streets of Nigeria, and one police officer or one institution says, pay 2,000 naira, and these men can't afford the 2,000 naira, bundle all of them, send them to Kirikiri. And some of them in the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years may not see the 4 corners of a court. They won't bring them because they're not important. Let me tell you one practical case. In 2014, there was a tussle between 2 landowners. They were family members. Superiority contest. One decided to employ the services of 120 hoodlums, invaded a town in Lagos, Agbowa, Udeonosa. 120. People were robbed, broad daylight. They operated for 3 solid hours. Masked, some were not masked. They raped women, robbed people, macheted people. When we were informed, we referred them to the Agbowa police station. They got there, they discovered that the place has been compromised by these same suspects and criminals. I referred them back to Area N Ijede in Ikorodu. It has also been compromised. I referred them to State CID Panti. And the young men there were doing a thorough job. They even arrested 2 of the suspects because one of the ladies, single lady that was raped, actually identified 2 of the suspects. Panti picked up these 2 suspects. An investigation was ongoing. She had gone for medical tests. These suspects went to Abuja to write a counter petition. And on the basis of the counter petition,
They were released.
Abuja came to confiscate the file from Panti.
Jesus Christ.
I say it before God and man, before the entire society, that petition writing is big business in Nigeria. It's big business. I'm telling you honestly, just commit a crime, you will see police officers that will be willing
To help you write
500,000 naira. They will help you write the petition, get approval. They will confiscate the file. In doing a follow-up, I called the IPO one day. He told me, he said, they've confiscated the file from Abuja. We got a signal that we should transfer the file to Abuja. I said, what arrant nonsense? You are doing a very good job. We went to Abuja. I wrote a petition to the DIG. Let me be before God and man, they had compromised. In fact, the whole intention of confiscating the file was to kill the case. It took us 1.5 years of tenacious pursuit. On the basis of my petition, the DIG invited all the suspects, the complainant, the victim, and even a traditional ruler in Lagos State flew in all the way from London to attend that interview and told the DIG that they should allow him to go and settle the matter at home. I looked at him, I said, if your daughter
was the one
went
raped
to be the victim, will you stand here and be asking for settlement? I know you will use your connection to the state government to ensure that whosoever did that to your daughter will go to prison. And the DIG was almost allowing them to go home. And I told them point blank, I said, look, criminal offenses do not have expiry dates. If you are not courageous enough, or one thing or the other has transpired, and you do not want to follow up this case or ensure that justice is done, so long as there's a God that sits over the affairs of men, these people will get justice. We're doing it pro bono because when people lose faith in the system,
You see, that's the point I want to
when people
hold on,
lose
sir.
faith in the
Hang
system,
in
you
there,
are
sir.
heading for an animal kingdom.
That's the problem, sir. You see,
And are we not there yet?
this case is peculiar. But see, there are
Many.
many. So,
That's what I'm
like, a
telling
lot
you.
of people are there. What circle do we have?
Because let me tell you this, the system, the structure we run today in Nigeria does not provide and does not have room for the vulnerable members of the society.
Because I know Punch did an investigation last year. There's a court, I'm not going to mention the jurisdiction because you would know. There's a court where you can get paid. You can pay the magistrate. You can pay and get a different upturn of justice. It happened in several cases. So a family, and I know the story, but I know Punch did investigated. They sent in people there to go and do as them to pretend. And it came on last year. Anyway, we'll talk further, but you see, we've not answered that critical question.
We're going to answer
What
that.
does the man on the street? What can he do? Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. As we said earlier, there are lots of cases like this, and since we are talking about social injustice today, what do the man on the street do? The woman, the vulnerable groups, how do they find support? Do they just look for lawyers to get them to do pro bono cases, or what can we do to force the government to help these vulnerable people?
In a state like Lagos State, I must commend Lagos State government because it's one of the most proactive and forward-looking states in Nigeria. They've been able to establish so many platforms for redressing social injustice.
Okay.
We have the Office of the Public Defender, so you don't have any reason to say you are poor. You can walk into the Ministry of Lagos State Ministry of Justice I think in room 501. There's also another desk for, you know, gender-related issues,
violence, yes.
like violence against women, rape, children. Again. So Lagos State government is doing very well, very well, very well. So, and they also have this citizenship mediation center. If you are being, yes, if you are a tenant or you are a landlord, because sometimes tenants can also harass their landlord. It's both ways. You see a tenant that is actually intimidating the landlord, or your landlord is trying to intimidate you and not following due process in evicting you. You go to the Ministry of Justice, the Citizenship and the Mediation Center there. So in Lagos State, for example, you have so many, you know, platforms, so many avenues and channels to, you know, air your grievance, to seek redress.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have money. It's not about money. And I also know there are so many chambers, so many lawyers that are also passionate about social justice. So you can also approach some of them. Okay. So many chambers do pro bono judges.
I wanted to, because when I hear you speak, and some people have to drag cases for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you know,
10
is
years.
there a way, 10 years, is there a way we can actually fight it, that these cases, you know, within the shortest possible time, that we kill whatever it is and fight the situation? Because some people do not even have, I think the tactics these people use is that they keep making sure they delay and delay and delay. You get frustrated.
Let me, before you answer that question, let me take Paul from VI. Paul, are you there? Paul. Paul, thanks for calling. Are you there?
Yeah, hello?
Thanks for calling. Welcome to the show. Yes, delay tactics.
I think it's the system the way it is presently. You know, seeking redress, one, starts from the department or the agency you report to. Well, for example, Lagos State government, as much as they are trying, I'm also aware that they're also under pressure, manpower-wise, because the cases that are coming up every day by day is so much that sometimes, let me just tell you, the state council, they go to court. Sometimes you see one particular state council handling about 20, 30 files. They don't even get to study the file. I'm not trying to cast it, but the pressure. Sometimes they get to court, and that's when they will be having interview with the client and the witnesses right in court before going. And meanwhile, it's about clinical preparation. You need to prepare. Yes, you have to listen. So there's challenge of pressure. So it starts from there.
Okay, let me take Marvelous. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Please, I quickly want to talk about your topic, that it is even better if you are trying to find justice, as in from a civilian to a civilian. When it comes to government officials, Murayo, I'm telling you, you can never find justice. If you check some governors, I don't even believe that they are gods. That even if you threaten them or tell them that what you are doing is wrong, they will tell you that you should go and die. Like the governor of Oyo State, the governor of Kaduna State. These are governors that will tell you openly that, what do you feel that you are, what do you feel like this is a constituted authority, and nobody can challenge, nobody can. So I feel that at least we should make the system, I don't know how we can, maybe we should advocate to make the system that we can, like, impeach a governor or withdraw the governor and Senate.
Thank you very much, Marvelous.
I think we must, there are things you can't fight, but we must never give up on getting justice for the situation. In Nigeria, we use religion to say, God will fight for me.
And he does.
And God fights for us, but we need to be willing to fight and get the precedents on ground. Like the woman that fought to get her property, even when the culture had willed it to our in-laws, took 20 years to get justice. Also, I think we must be aware, the lady that caught a rapist and identified, he also mentioned the rapist, the lady was able to identify. I think we must be aware of what is going on. So you can say that this is what happened. They were speaking this language. Don't get into shock when you're in that situation that you don't know. You can't even give account of what happened. When you're there.
Let's take them to it, please. Then I'll come to you, sir.
Okay. Uchenna says, true federalism is the only panacea to Nigeria's social injustices. The case of the guest cited would have been resolved in Lagos. Oluwayomi Ajayi says, many mistake freedom for no boundaries, whereas in reality, freedoms are within defined boundaries. Adebayo says, the fabric of our society is defective and greed-driven. It will take the cooperation of all.
Dada Olowo says, the highest form of social injustice is denying Nigerians the bare necessities of life while they junket. Fidelis says, good morning, ladies. Wisdom. They say, Mariah, they can't believe you've not seen Koboko in convoy.
Ugochi says, Barrister, protesting to express our grievances with the government have not been taken seriously. What better way out?
You know, one of the what I've come to realize in the course of my profession is that people need to be empowered. Yes, because see, a bank manager was arrested by the police officer for introducing 2 customers who had lawyers acting for them. They did business for over 2 years. The business went bad because the other one swindled one. They now went back to the police station to say the bank manager who introduced them should now be the one that will be responsible for coughing out the money. It was reported in Zone 2. I went there, I told the CP, I said, the facts are this man is very innocent. Maybe because he's a soft target, he works in the bank. You think he has a printing machine. That's why you think he can cough out the 6 million, which is the subject of dispute. You know, they say, lawyer, what's the way forward? I said, the way forward, very simple. Release the man. And, you know, they started talking. I look at the police officer. I said, I was born and bred in the street of Nigeria. I'm not an away guy. I know your language. Your language is what is the way forward. You are asking me, where's the money? I said, I have vowed if I cannot be an agent to change the corruption, I will never be part of the corruption. I don't give bribe to police officers because you write, bail is free. Release him. They dribble us until about 8 o'clock in the evening. They said the man that was side the bail bond has gone. I look at him, I said, sometimes you need to taste the rottenness of the system so that you will know the system we are. I said, you won't die. Till tomorrow, I know they will take you to court. No, they detain him till the following morning and charge him to court. But by 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm coming, 5 o'clock in the morning, I woke up about 4 lawyers. We went to court, got ourselves prepared, granted him bail, got him, you know, perfected the bail, and he went home. I said, you know what? This freedom is very refreshing because those police officers no longer have any right to arrest you. We'll meet in court. Eventually, the first time we went to court, the complainant and the police came to say they want to withdraw the matter.
That's
all. It died.
So, boss, you must say
so
they are
the only
good
reason
police
why
officers.
they took us to court was because we failed to dance the traditional dance.
Yes.
Of settling them.
Settling
But you
them.
must say they are good officers. You
No,
must.
absolutely. No. I'm not saying, I would say it point blank. There are times I've had to send some texts to some officers that, man, keep up the good work. May God allow people like you to occupy our public offices. So it's going to take time.
We're going to clean out the system eventually. But the most important thing we've gotten from this conversation is that let's keep doing, don't give up.
We must fight until the evolution of a decent society for each and every one of us.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
That's all we can take on the show today. Thanks for joining us. See you then. Bye-bye.